Hey, what's up? John Sonmez here from SimpleProgrammer.com. So I got a question on one of my videos. The video was what to eat to achieve top performance. You can check out that video here. And Carl Abelas commented, he said, "Hi John, could you do a video about how to implement and take action on what you tell and teach in your videos? Because I'm having a hard time implementing it on my life, and I'm always tempted to go back in my previous ways and living. I really want to change, but I always end up watching helpful videos, but always stays the same. Hope you can help me. Thanks." So I did a video response actually somewhat to this morning when I was out running. I did my run this morning, my workout at 5:45 a.m., my first workout, my first run. And I talked about this idea, which I won't rehash too much, but I want to give this question more an in-depth answer, sort of a different angle. But this morning I talked about the idea of your identity. And one of the reasons why I'm able to go out and run and do that is because my identity is such that I believe I'm a fucking bulldog. I'm the guy who's gonna go out and do this shit, right? That I have that identity, and that identity is what's causing me to ignore the fact that I'm tired, or that I'm hungry, or that I don't feel like running today, and just fucking do it anyway, right? Because it's so tied into my identity. Okay, and I also talked about the idea of like taking actions, and then when actions will influence your beliefs, they will become your beliefs. Whatever you act on, it'll become your belief, right? But I want to talk a little bit more about this, just in general, about this concept. I want to give you guys a little bit more encouragement for how, like, you can be watching these videos and you can be understanding these concepts, but how to actually make those changes in your life. I want to look at exactly what he said here. But he said, how to implement and take action on what you tell and teach in your videos. And he says that, he's always tempted to go back to his previous ways of living. So how do you implement? How do you take action on these things, right? These concepts that I'm telling you about, these things that I'm telling you that are resonating with you, that makes sense. That you're like, oh yeah, I should live my life this way. Oh yeah, what John is saying is correct. So the first thing I would say is that, and I talk about this all the time when I am giving a talk. Whenever I give a talk somewhere, one of the big things I say don't take notes on what I'm saying, okay? Because what I'm saying, you could get the recording later, or you could get the slides or whatever, and most people aren't anyway, right? It's not going to happen. You're not going to, I've gone to plenty of talks where I thought, okay, I'm going to re-listen to this talk after. And maybe you will. But what I tell people is I say, look, here's what you need to do. I've got some kind of hair stuck on my wrist here, if you're wondering what I'm doing. So I tell them this. I say, look, take notes on what you're going to do, what actions you're going to take. And I'd say the same thing about these videos, right? You're watching these videos, it's great. Okay, it's awesome that you're internalizing these concepts. And to some degree, I do this plenty, right? I listen to audiobooks. I'm not taking action. I'm not taking notes. I'm just letting it sink into my head. And it does change me, right? If you have enough input, it will change you over time. And so I will tell you this, is that if you just do that, if your only strategy is just to change what comes in, some action should come from that. Like, it should change you internally based on your input. But oftentimes that's not enough, or it's not enough alone. If you really want to internalize what I'm saying here, if you really want to make the life kind of changes that I talk about, if you really become a fucking bulldog, right? For example, let's run the bulldog video. If you want that, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to, when you're hearing concepts, right? And I do this myself, right? I have on my phone a little app called Drafts, and I'll type up a note to myself whenever I'm thinking of something, or I hear something and it inspires me, or I think this is what I'm going to do. But what you need to do is you need to actually write down and think about what kind of action you're going to take in response to this. So, I could tell you a principle, right? I've talked about so many principles on this channel, so many concepts. Let's take one, for example, one that I mention all the time, which is one around discipline, which is I talk about this idea that in order to have discipline, right, what you need to do is you need to remove judgments so that you don't have to make judgment calls throughout the day, right? I'm not going to rehash the whole thing here, but essentially I've talked about many times this concept of The idea that you need to not make judgments. If you make a judgment call, you're likely to make the wrong one. And that's why, one of the reasons why I fast all day, or I fast until 5 o'clock, is I don't have to make judgment calls, right? Or I set my schedule, or I plan out my week the way that I plan out my week. And things that I do is that I eliminate those kind of decision points in my life so I can't make the wrong decision. I just have a fucking hard and fast rule that I must follow. Okay? And for a lot of you, what I'm saying, this isn't new. That makes sense to you, but have you fucking done it? And you're going to say, no, I haven't done that, right? I'm still making decisions and failing at making those decisions. Heck, listening, this is one of them, right? The very comment, this very question that I got asked is related to this, right? So what can you do? You're listening to me talk about this concept, okay? What can you do? Well, you can take notes if you're going to take notes, or you can decide in your mind, or you can write it down, or you can say, right now I'm going to act. What I'm going to do based on this video, the action I'm going to take is that I am going to look at my life right now. Let me pause the video. Let me look and see where am I making decisions that I'm failing, right? Okay, you're going to have to analyze your own life. Where am I constantly making decisions, right? Is it, here's a common one for a lot of you, okay? Are you getting fat because every day at work, your coworkers say, hey, where should we eat lunch today, right? And you decide between eating healthy or not, right? And you go out, and by the time you go to TGI Fridays, right, you're eating the fucking chicken wings or the mozzarella sticks, or I don't know what you like over there. You see what I'm saying, right? So if you're constantly making that decision wrong, then what you're going to do is you're listening to me say that, you're listening to this video, and you're going to say, okay, I'm coming up with a plan. This is my plan. I'm going to bring my lunch, and I'm going to make a healthy lunch Monday through Thursday, and I will allow myself to go out on Fridays. And that's it, right? That's a plan. That's at least an action. Now, it might not perfectly get you to your goal, but that's implementing it. See, that's taking what I'm telling you in the video about, say you're removing the judgment calls, right? So you're actually implementing it in your life right now, and you're setting that rule, and you're deciding to make that change. Right? If you listen to something, okay, and it doesn't spur you to actually make a change right now in your life, probably you're never going to make it. Probably it's not going to happen, right? So, you could let's get meta. Let's talk about this video. What am I talking about here? Again, you should make a resolution, right? If you want to implement things I'm talking about in the videos, in this video, then what would your action be? Maybe you take some notes to say, oh, what John is saying is he's saying that, or what I'm going to do in response to this is that I am going to, from now on, whenever I watch a video, I'm going to come up with one concrete action that I'm going to take away from that video, that I'm actually going to do and implement in my life, right? See, that's it right there, right? I mean, we're getting meta here. It's confusing the fuck out of me right now trying to think about what I'm talking about, but you see what I'm saying? It's like, if you did that, let's just take that as a strategy. And it's not the only strategy, but let's just give that as one strategy, one simple one. If every time you watch one of my videos, okay, you absolutely resolved to take one action, to write it down, to send yourself an email, to change your life in some way concretely, right? What are you going to do? What is the one action that you're going to take? If you did that, you would benefit. You would gain a benefit. You would not backtrack as much as you just listening to it, right? You get the mental concepts, but the mental concepts don't mean anything when the rubber hits the road, right? If I tell you that you need to cut the losers out of your life, and you're like, yeah, I need to fucking cut the losers out of my life. Yeah. You're like, yeah, preach it, brother. And then you don't fucking do anything, and you're like, man, I don't know why I can't follow John's advice. I agree with it. It's because you didn't take action. But if you watch that video, right, maybe I'll cue up that video, and you're like, you know what? After this video's done, I'm making a list of all the people in my life, and I'm going to rate them from 1 to 5 on how valuable that relationship is. Like, are they negative? Let's go from -5 to +5, okay? And I'm just going to say, all right, anyone who's at negative, they're gone, okay? And everyone who's on 1 and 2, they're on notice. They're on notice, okay? And I will cut these people from my life, right? I wouldn't have to be mean. You know what I mean? You watch the video, like, I'm not saying it to be mean, but that's an action that you could take. You see what I'm saying? Again, this action itself is not important, but the idea of taking actions, okay? Of doing something. So when you're watching my videos, okay? It's just not just my videos, but if you want to change your life, you're going to have to take action. And you need to do that when you're inspired. You need to commit to action, at least, when you're inspired. You need to take some kind of action when you're inspired. So, from now on, figure that out. Figure, if you really want to make those changes, okay? And when I do this in my life, when I see something that, like I said, I get so fucking antsy because I'm like, I have to email myself, I have to message myself so that I actually take action. I put this on my Trello board or whatever it is, right? And I make sure that action is going to be taken on it. Otherwise, it will be lost, okay? And then again, this is just another angle at looking at what I talked about this morning in the other video. I don't know which order these videos will come out. But it's another way of looking at this, right? How do you make actual changes in your life, right? There's a lot of ways to do this, right? There's more than one way to skin a cat, and sometimes it's going to take multiple ways and multiple approaches, right? Everything can be looked at from different angles. But if you choose one, and here's another lesson, a good life lesson here, is that if you choose one that's effective, it doesn't matter if there's fucking, you know what I mean? It's like if you're trying to get here, okay, and there's like 15 different roads that you could take that get you there. If you take one road and it gets you to where you're trying to get, you don't have to backtrack and say, well, maybe I should take these roads too, because you already got to where you're trying to get, right? And it doesn't mean that the other roads are invalid. Those other roads can get you there as well. The important thing is to pick one road, follow it all the way till you get to the destination. So many people, they don't know what road to pick, okay? So they're like going between roads, they never make a decision, or they go halfway down the road, then they come back and they try a different road, right? They're impatient. Pick a road, stick to the road, get to the destination. Doesn't matter which road it was. All right. If you haven't subscribed already, click that subscribe button below and click the bell to make sure you don't miss any videos. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.